Live from Las Vegas at the GCA show. After 2 years of hiatus, we're back in Vegas. World's largest cardboard trade show booth. Live here in Martinsville, Indiana. Live from Norwood Royal Cigars.
When you guys said, you know, we want you to come on the show once a month, I was like, dude, this is it.
Happy afternoon here from cloudy Florida.
Happy afternoon.
Happy afternoon.
Presented by Kristoff Cigars.
Come on in, the water's fine.
Coming to you live from the RnA Cigar Company studios.
Happy evening.
Happy evening.
What's going on?
Everyone, welcome to the Great Lakes Podcast Smoke Show. We've got a hot one tonight. We have our special monthly guest, Jerah is coming in with one of her special guests this evening, and we're going to let her introduce him in a short bit. But we just want to introduce us to all the newbies that are on board, and we have an exclusive. That's right. Great Lakes Smoke Show has an exclusive for everybody, and I think you're all going to be excited to hear this. We also have a special guest in studio tonight, president of the Chicago Pipe Club, Mr. Tim Garrity. But before we get to Tim, how you doing, folks? My name's Ron Pecorini. This is Kyle Jesso.
Good evening.
The two guys sitting down in Florida is my brother Bob.
How you doing?
And the one, the only, the cousin, the chooch, the Frank himself.
That's my sign language for everyone.
You're welcome. And our co-host down below, Jerah. How are you, Jerah?
Hey, greetings from Texas. We're about to get this snowmageddon thing all over again. We had to go through last year, and you know, we're a wonderful state, but we don't do the cold down here. So everybody's was at the grocery store, all the shelves are empty for
Just
like
milk
the
in the
2
bread,
days of snow
right?
that we're gonna have.
Well, that's
Get
not
outta here.
We don't like to hear about that, but you know,
I grew up in Wisconsin, so whatever. I mean, my family's from Wisconsin, so
That's
I'm
right.
not freaking out about it. So
the
There you
Green
go.
Bay Packer fan out of all of us. Indeed. But
the greatest NFL team of all time. I'm just playing.
well, when Lombardi
Should
was
talk about
around,
the
no
Steelers
question
again?
about that. The
Oh,
Steelers.
She is most definitely not talking about the Steelers. That is who she's definitely not talking about.
No. But we have a couple of people that are on, like my good friend Scott. He loves the Green Bay Packers, and there's a few of you. And hey, you had a good run. I mean, you got a good quarterback, or you had a good
We
quarterback.
do.
You don't know if he's going back anyway. But there's
don't
a lot of good NFL news, and unfortunately today, even though I hated him, but I respected him, Tom Brady said goodbye to the NFL after 22 seasons.
He did. Good run.
He did. Yeah, he went out in style, and good for him that he didn't wait and really decline in front of all.
There was a
Can we
his better half was
can we
Tom.
touch on something real quick?
Real quick.
Can we talk about the fact that Tom Brady's daughter has touched the Lombardi Trophy more than any Dallas Cowboy over the last 10 years?
Throw that in.
No problem talking about that. Matter of fact, my daughter has touched that probably more than my Jet and Giants together. So,
I'll drink to it, as a matter of fact.
Cheers.
I
Cheers,
don't
indeed.
think the Cowboys know what it's like to get past one playoff game.
They don't. They don't.
This is true. This is true. But anyway, what are you going to do? But folks, thank you very much for joining in. Like I mentioned to you guys earlier, we do have a very special announcement to make for all our pipe smokers out there around the world. And right next door to me here is Tim Garrity, again, president of the Chicago Pipe Club. Tim, tell the world what's going on and what has finally been...
You gotta love the news.
Wow.
Breaking news.
We stand no expense here.
Wow. That was,
Like smoke show.
caught me off guard. But
I gotta go get my bottle.
Get you.
It always is.
Yeah.
Well, the good news, we finally have our show announcement May 27th through the 29th at the Lincolnshire Marriott in Lincolnshire, Illinois. It's a really good resort. We're really kind of pumped about it. Plague can't keep us down.
Yes.
Well, tries, but so we're going to be having a link coming up for reservations for those who want to reserve their hotel rooms. So there's going to be a lot more information coming. So you might want to be tuning in to the Great Lakes Smoke Show. A lot of it will be released here. So if you ever wanted to see a great show, pipes, all things tobacco, great time, great people. It's a great opportunity to come out and just be with like-minded people. So, and for those of you who, enjoy the occasional stick, well, it's plenty of cigar smokers there as well. So
There'll be a cigar roller there, right?
yes,
That's
we always
every
have
year?
a cigar roller there, does fresh rollings with fresh leaf. It's really kind of intriguing to see it take place. Really, because the process hasn't changed.
Right.
So it's really, it's just great. It's a great opportunity for people to come out and find out what the club is about and what the show's about. So, we understand it's over the Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
Okay.
For this year, at least for this
year, if you got
It's 2-year hiatus that we
Yeah,
got
I
to
mean-
take what we can get.
It's
We
the
were-
COVID,
we were crushed for time, and we usually have it at the beginning of May. But there's been a lot of changes, folks. We've lost our original venue. And it's not easy to accommodate a show that has over 5,000 people,
and smokers on top of
yeah.
it.
And everybody, this is Illinois. So everything, if it's enjoyable,
They're
they
gonna
don't
tax
like
the
it in
hell out of it.
Illinois.
Well, no,
Okay.
they
Take away from you in Illinois.
What
hell
are
out
you
of it.
talking about? man?
Or they'll tax you.
Yeah, they'll tax the hell out of it. If you like it, we'll find a way to tax
Yes,
you
this is
That's
true.
it. Joy is a tax.
on it.
So we've got a venue that is very friendly. They're very open to us. The town is open to us. So I'm really looking forward to the show. It's been 2 years. I've been involved in the show for 4 years. It's like missing a good friend, and all the times that you have with them. Well, we're getting it back. So we're getting the band back together, folks.
There you go.
There we
and,
go.
and there's going to be a smoking tent.
We have a
Yes.
smoking tent. We
So-
have it. What's very interesting about the Lincolnshire Marriott, it's a real resort. I mean, the place we're at before, no offense, okay, but I've stayed at like 0-star hotels that were better, where you got to clean the blood stains off first, So this place is a real resort. It's in a beautiful town. For
Yes.
those who want to bring their families, there's great shopping in the
Mhm.
area. I'm just going to be there smoking and running the show. So everybody who can,
Oh,
we
Bachelor
really,
Tim for the weekend. Nice.
dude, I haven't been a bachelor forever. I love my old lady.
Even married, he's been a bachelor. Who are you
That's
kidding?
right. That's called an Irish marriage. Okay? It's a lot like being single.
That's like Jerah wants to do with Kyle. I mean, I don't blame her for 2 days and it's over.
I mean, I still haven't found a woman that can put up with my shit. So
Well, you almost did, but she threw you out already last week. When the last time
It's
we talked.
because you don't bring me peace. I need peace.
That's right.
That old piece.
That's usually the making of a great marriage, though. Just saying.
I'm not taking marriage advice from a Steelers fan. Let's get that out.
Hey, anybody who knows me knows that American football, God bless your hearts, but it's a light sport. Give me a Irish rugby any day of the week. Ireland #1 this year. Six Nations, folks. You heard it here.
Oh God! Listen, we just want to
Please
talk
go
about
put your helmet on in your pad.
How can we get Tim off now? Can I pull the hook on him?
Tim, you said you had to go home early, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, so give the dates again and what the people
May
do to go look for more information on this show.
Okay, May 27th through the 29th. You can check out our Facebook page, but there will be a lot of announcements coming up when we have the reservation link, when we have our, not only that, but our itinerary for different events that we're going to be running. So there's going to be a lot of information coming out, folks. Of course, a lot of it will be released here. So tune in and enjoy.
And what about telling us about the next Chicago Pipe Club meeting?
Our next meeting is February 12th at Arlington Pipe and Cigar. We'll be starting at 6 as usual. I think this month they're doing fourth generation with Eric Stokeby.
Yep.
So they have a nice selection of tobaccos and
20% off all pipes and 10% off all tobaccos.
Muy bueno. Great stick collection. Incredible pipe tobacco collection and selection in the town. So also in March 12th, we'll be at Iwan Reefs in downtown Chicago for our meeting.
There you go.
There we go.
All right,
Awesome.
folks.
That's
Perfect.
it. That's all you got.
I'm done, man. I'm going to go ahead and
All
pipe
right.
and
You're
sit
done?
next to
You're
your
gonna
wife.
Go sit next to my wife.
Whoa,
Okay.
whoa.
I'm easy. You see, I'm one of those easy
Yeah, you know?
guys. I'm trustworthy.
Hey, I've already given her COVID. So, we're good.
Whoa.
We're practically married.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sharon,
Too many
There's a
things in Chicago.
it's all right. There's a Glock facing him.
I'm gonna freak out my guest.
I know. He's sitting there patiently waiting in the green
I know,
room.
like,
I
Okay.
like to call it.
I'll turn it back over to these guys.
Oh, what a guy. What a
Hey,
guy.
Take it easy, folks.
All right. There you go.
All right,
Chicago Pipe Show this year after 2 years in the making. It has been long overdue. But we just got the paper signed, and we cannot wait. It's going to be an awesome show. So follow it here on the show, on the page. We're going to get you all the information. But before Jerah introduces our next special guest that we are excited to have, we're going to take it away to our sponsors. Frank, it's yours.
This industry is steeped in family and tradition. There's generational stuff, and I see it over and over, and yet no, I didn't come from that. Being the outsider looking in, I got to ask all the silly questions, and people were very accepting to want to give me all the right answers. I'm very thankful for those people who kind of allowed me to come in. Now with Alec and Bradley in the business, to have our company become generational, that's pretty cool.
Cigar in the Bottle is 2 palate-pleasing gifts in 1. A specially blended Grand Pommier XS VSOP cognac is elegantly contained in patented numbered bottles. Winner of back-to-back medals at the LA Spirits Awards, Cigar in the Bottle inventor Forbidden Johnny teams up with Vartan and Hendrik Kellner for this custom-blended Vartan Reserva cigar, well-preserved in a hand-blown glass chamber featuring Bovita 2-way humidification.
This is Phil Morgan, General Manager of Missouri Meerschaum Corncob Pipes in Washington, Missouri. Our mission since 1869 has been to produce great smoking pipes that anyone can afford. We guarantee our pipes won't be your most expensive, but they just might be the ones you smoke the most. At Missouri Meerschaum Company, we don't just sell our corncob pipes, we grow them, make them, and smoke them. Missouri Meerschaum, Washington, Missouri, since 1869.
At Norwood Royal Cigars, we have the biggest walk-in humidor in the Midwest. Our 1,500 square foot humidor is home to almost 4,000 different cigars that will meet the need of any cigar enthusiast. We have boutique blends to the more traditional selections and everything in between. From the novice beginner to the aficionado, the knowledgeable staff at NRC will find the perfect cigar for you. Located on the northwest side of Chicago, we want to be your shop for all your cigar wants and needs. As always, at Norwood Royal Cigars, light it, smoke it, love it.
And we are back.
Man, we got good sponsors.
Yes, and a lot more to come. But right now, we're going to turn it over to you, young lady. Tell us who's waiting in the green room.
Let me just tell you a little bit about our next guest. He hails from St. Louis, living in Georgia right now. He is a father. He is a husband, firearms trainer, cigar enthusiast, community advocate, and he is the single greatest thing to come out of St. Louis since the ice cream cone. Dixie.
You are too kind, too kind. Let me try to scoot back a little bit. The face is all on the screen.
Bring Kevin Dixie on.
Thank you very much. Can you guys hear me?
Welcome.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you having me. Salute.
Yes. No.
Well, she held a gun to our head. We had to.
Yes, I did that. But
That's my
did
girl.
you know that the ice cream cone was invented in St. Louis?
I did not know that.
Did
I
not.
didn't know that till you said it.
Yeah.
Did you know that iced tea was invented in St. Louis?
I thought he
I
was in
didn't know
New
that till
York.
you said it.
Yeah, he's from New York. Obviously.
I thought that was Ice Cube.
Oh, Ice Cube. Okay.
So you New Yorkers are trying to take credit for all kind of shit that didn't come out of New York.
Well, what do you expect?
I'm not even going to dwell on this plagiarism. I'm going to introduce Kevin. Kevin, these are the Chooches. Welcome to the Great Lakes Smoke Show. This is Kyle,
Hey, how you doing, Kevin?
Hey, Kyle.
Bob, and Cousin Frank.
How you doing, man?
All right.
Hey, brothers.
Yeah.
She didn't
I'm
even tell you.
I was like, who's the other guy?
You do.
What is your name?
No one heard that.
That's okay. I forgot Ronnie's name
I
too.
said it. I said it.
He's still here.
These are my crazy Italian uncles, man. Welcome to the show.
Oh, I appreciate you having me on. Really do.
Thank you.
Sorry, my background is not more enthusiastic, but I felt like smoking with everybody else, so I had to come outside away from my normal setup.
Oh, good.
I'm the one that's not smoking
What are you
tonight.
smoking, by the way? I know. Let's all say what we're smoking because I think that's an important part of the show, right? We need to give everybody a baseline. So Bob and I are smoking a Howard G. Black Moses. I'm smoking the limited, and Bob is smoking the Black Moses box press. Great stick, and another wonderful human being, Howard. We love his cigars. So paying homage to Howard. And Kyle and Ron are smoking the...
We have the Monza from Alec Spencer from ASR Cigars. That's
great stick as well.
Great stick. Really, really good.
Cool label.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Dig that.
It is an absolute fantastic smoke.
I'm not smoking right now. I think I need one more week. I was having a chest thing, and I just don't want to relapse. But I am drinking.
There you go.
That's always good.
Per the usual, and I'm on that George T. Stagg.
Nice.
I am having a leaf by Oliver tonight.
Oh, leaf.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
I'm going to be unwrapping. This is a Connecticut cut. Well, a Connecticut wrapper on this one.
Yep.
That's what it's supposed to be anyway. You never know till you actually unwrap the damn thing. But yeah. So, it is what I expected.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
Makes it.
Fantastic
He
smoke.
sure does.
Great.
Yeah.
Really does make some
I
good.
think it's a really underrated stick.
Absolutely. But it did actually bring Oscar to the forefront. And he has an amazing story. You have to check out one of our podcasts back from PCA last year. And Oscar is an amazing human being. And he makes cigars for a lot of folks. And actually for our friend over at Norwood Royal Cigars, the Don V.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Just a fabulous.
That's another
smoke.
good stick.
It's an all-day smoke, no matter what. And one of our listeners, Joe, just swears by it. Kyle and I have had, all four of us actually had it. And
we love it.
Had it a few times.
Fantastic
Great
taste throughout the entire smoke. Good stuff. Oscar's making a big name for himself, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So how'd you pick up that one there? From
the rapper. It's all about the presentation.
The rapper?
I just walked in. Yeah, it was the rapper, man. I walked in a local cigar spot. I always try to, pay homage to the places, small spots, check them out. I walked in. They have a very small selection, but this is one of them. I'm like, well, that's an interesting presentation. So I was like, all right, you got me at the wrapper. And I got it and took it home and was pleasantly surprised. I mean, I think this was $12.
Right.
So I was pleasantly surprised that, because I normally like some Padrones or Liga 9s are one of my favorites, and I normally go around that when I want to have a really something really nice and relaxing. But for $12, half the price, this puts me in the same mood. So that's how I got it, though. The packaging got me hooked from there.
It's a fantastic marketing plan for the packaging. Really is.
And
that's very good.
Being wrapped in a tobacco leaf, because like for us pipe smokers, you can grind that tobacco up and smoke it in your pipe.
There you go.
Yeah, I actually gave the leaf to another type of smoker once. I think they enjoyed it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. They said, "Hey, what are you going to do with that?" I was like, "Give it to you," and they said, "Oh, thank you."
That's called a blunt.
Yeah. I mean, we used to do that out of Phillies back in, when I was younger in Chicago, but whatever.
Oh,
jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, we told you anything
All
happened.
right, we're going off the rails again.
Off the rails.
Bring us back. Come on, Jerah. Go ahead. Bring him back.
I gotta rein you guys in a little bit. You're gonna corrupt my good friend here. Kevin's a good guy. All right.
Oh, and we're not. Wow. Okay.
No.
Everybody knows we're not. Come on.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
We're just four chooches in her book.
Yep, that's all it is.
That's
all
right.
we are.
So, you're gonna have to bring, Kevin in on the Italian slang, because I don't think he understands what a chooch is.
Oh, wait a minute.
Frank is going to show a picture.
Wait a minute. Church is kind of like it's become our mascot in a way. It's become our mascot, and he kind of looks and sounds this way.
I thought that was just a jackass.
It's
pretty much. It's Italian slang for jackass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the jackass. So yes, we are the four jackasses. We just like to sound a little more classy.
Yes. Yes. Lady in the chooches. That's
Lady in the chooches.
Can we rename the podcast Lady in the Chooches?
I think we can do a Disney animated classic.
There you go.
Can I be goofy? I know.
You're already goofy.
Oh, you're Choochie.
Kevin. As you know, my first guest on the show was Jervon, who you introduced me to. And you weren't sure how that was going to work out, but she is a good friend now, and she was a great guest for us last month, and she really touched on some cool things in the cigar world and in the African American community, and then being a female entrepreneur. And that's kind of a little bit along the lines of what I'm wanting to talk to you about. But this is the first day of Black History Month. And so I wanted to align that with cigars. And we were going to have another guest on tonight, David Blanco with Blanco Cigars, but unfortunately he had to reschedule. But I had gifted you a cigar from his line called the Prince Hall. And you smoked it, and we talked a little bit about the history of that. And I kind of want to highlight that on this show because Jervon made the really great point that there's a lot of up-and-coming African-American cigar makers, owners of cigar companies, females getting into the industry. And so I kind of wanted to take a step back and talk a little bit about Prince Hall, and a little bit about the cigar that David Blanco has, because I thought that was really brilliant. He has a really good military forward cigar too, called the Above and Beyond. And I love the way that he markets these to different demographics and really important history, especially with this Prince Hall. And so for those of you who are watching that don't really know who Prince Hall was, he was the first. He basically founded Black Freemasonry and advocated for African American children's educational rights in the 17 and early 1800s. He was a big advocate for African Americans fighting in the Revolutionary War, because he felt like if African Americans had a stake in the war, they would have a stake in the new world. And so I wanted to kind of talk with you a little bit about that, Kevin, and about like how important is this representation for you?
Well, when it comes to this cigar industry, I got to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised with the steps that had already been taken. And when you gave me that cigar, was I believe the first time I ever heard of it, and you introduced it to me, kind of gave me the history and the thought process behind it. And what it showed me was that there are, sometimes we lose hope because we're always fighting our own battles and trying to push our own good word for it. But when somebody already gets it, it kind of lets you take a deep breath and a kind of a sigh of relief, right? So I believe that for him taking those steps and kind of giving other people or other cultures or a different history a shine and a spotlight, and especially when you're putting your business on the line to do it, I think that's a pretty courageous thing to do, and it's also a very thoughtful thing to do. Prince Hall is somebody who is not talked about a lot in history. He's revered to many, and for those who don't know him, they just think it's a cool name for Masonic Lodge. They don't really understand it, but it's important. That representation is very important. Whether we're dealing with cigars, we're dealing with firearms, we're dealing with whatever. We can't say that we want a united America, but we only live it by one culture. That's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And what did you think about the cigar when you smoked it?
I took 4 notes on it. So it was first of all, it was well kept. So thank you, because it wasn't dry. I hate a dry leaf cigar.
You know how I do.
Yeah, it was well kept. It smoked, it burned, and I believe it has something to do with the humidity you kept it at. So it burned nice. I hate when they rush. I hate when I get a nice decent gauge over like 46 and that thing burns out in like 30 minutes. It ticks me off. It ruins my night. Right. I don't like that. But it burned nice. The filler was nice. I don't know if the filler was Nicaraguan or Dominican, but the filler was nice. The presentation was good, and it wasn't packed too full. It was like, it wasn't quite a box press, but it still gave you that nice full filling that was easy to smoke, gave you a good flume, so you get that nice little flume coming out, helps you relax. And I can't remember all the taste that I got into it, all the different tastes, because I forgot to jot those down. But it left an impression on me. It really did. So I will definitely be grabbing a couple more of those.
Excellent. Well, we love Blanco. David's so amazing, and he runs a really great shop over there. And we look forward to having him on the show in the future for sure, because he's just he's made such a mark in the industry, just with his personality, the history of his family. So he's Cuban. He was military. His family's been doing cigars, since the 1800s, and so for him to kind of take that over and kind of put some really good marketing and some really good blends behind, and then cross it with this really amazing history, man. Big. Let's just drink to David.
There we go. To David.
To David.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
David.
And the Prince Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And that Prince Hall cigar. So tell us a little bit about what you do with Noah. So Kevin and I have been training guns together for a long time, years now. He has a really, really great event that unfortunately I'm not going to be able to make this Chicago smoke show thing that you guys are going to have, because I'm going to be training with Kevin, and it's kind of a yearly tradition that we do over that holiday weekend, that Memorial holiday weekend, out in St. Louis. And so tell the Chooches a little bit about, and the audience a little bit about what we do at Train and
Learn. Sorry, my light's temperamental right now. I apologize. Just got an attitude problem. Maybe it didn't like my selection. I don't know why it's
around a little bit.
It is fighting me.
Well, he's looking at that just to give a little information on the Prince Hall. There's 2 different versions of the Prince Hall cigar. There's the Habano Maduro and there's the Habano Rosado. The Maduro one is a Habano Maduro Nicaragua wrapper. It has a Sumatra binder, and it has Nicaraguan fillers. The Habano Rosado is a Habano Rosado Nicaragua wrapper with binders from Nicaraguan and fillers from Nicaraguan as well. So that kind of gives you an idea of what's inside that cigar. they also say that the kind of like the taste profile of the cigar has notes of leather, wood, earth with a floral bouquet and a hint of spice throughout the retrohale, but a very, very clean, smooth finish on the Maduro. On the Rosado, it's more of like a oaky, caramely, leathery note.
Yeah, that's the one I gave Kevin. Yeah, that's the one I gave Kevin for sure. It was not the Maduro. I remember that. Yeah, Kev, you don't really even need that light.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, okay, I'm done fighting it. Okay,
we're just looking at the.
You could just shoot it; it'll be fine.
So it's Jerry, and your question was, what do I do? Right? Is one of them guide him into that, or talk about the event?
Yeah, talk about the train and learn, and then we'll get into like what you do in the community and stuff too.
Okay, so I'm all about solutions. I'm not really a guy that likes addressing problems and not coming up with solutions. So, and one of the realms of the world that I love is the Second Amendment and the freedom that it affords us. So, what I noticed is that when I got into this industry, the firearms industry, I noticed that there are a lot of people that really had a lot of heart, right? They really wanted to do the right thing. They wanted to push forward. They wanted to fight for freedom in their own unique way, some by writing, some by blogging, some by being YouTube personalities, some people working behind the scenes at manufacturers. But one thing that I noticed is that we had a lot of heart and not a lot of guidance and not a lot of business sense. We just were missing that. And so the individuals, what would happen is you would have somebody great, right? They got this great thing, they got a niche market, and in a year they burn out, right? They don't have funding. They didn't know how to properly market themselves. They didn't understand propaganda. They didn't understand networking, something simple as that. They didn't understand those things. And then we had people that had a great gift to talk about it and motivate individuals and get them excited about freedom, but they didn't know how to operate firearms, right? Like, and so I could see it. And instead of being the guy that looks at your profile page, I'm sorry, it came back. I felt like I had to win. Okay, so
all right, you're gonna win, absolutely.
So instead of being the guy that looks at somebody's, social media information and says, oh, look at this idiot, they need to do this better, they need to do that better. I'm just not that type of person. I said, hey, I tell you what, why don't we put together a 3-day professional development where I don't know everything, but outside of being in law enforcement and having my background, I'm also educated. I have 2 degrees, and both of them in business, and one of them in procurement, acquisitions, and contract management. So I'm like, I can bring that talent to the forefront and help you. And then I start thinking about it. It's like, well, the beauty is I got a lot of smart friends too, right? So I don't know everything. So let me call my smart friends and have them come in and see if they'll donate some of their, information, some of their education knowledge. And they did. Like, everybody I called was like, yes. And so that's what we do. We spend one day in a classroom, and that's what we're doing. Where we are talking about and going over how to scale your business and all the different things that occurs with that, right? So it's kind of universal. It can work for really any industry, but
right.
we hyper focus on the freedom industry, and that's what we do for 6 hours. And it's you're getting 45-minute shots with 6 different people, food's floating around. It's a lot of energy. You're having a good time, but we're talking about advocating. We're talking about how to scale your business, what marketing looks like, how to properly use the internet. A lot of people were confused with, oh my God, I only have, 7,000 followers. I can't do anything. Instagram throttles us in a lot of what we do. And the last time I checked, which was last week, I have 27,000 followers on Instagram. My reach is 235 million people.
Wow.
So my reach supersedes what the numbers tell you. So, and that's what I'm trying to get them to understand, which is why I don't give up, because I understand what I'm doing is working. So I call my smart buddies, Jerah being one of them, one of the smartest people I know. I called her. I was like, hey, I want you to come to this thing. And she came to the first one, and Jerah did Jerah things. Like, yeah, we're going to make this better, right? This is kind of what she did. Yeah. Jerah came, put on the first one, and it was rough on me. I was a walking dead, man. I was tired. I was doing everything myself. Jerah blessed me with being willing to contribute her skill set and her intelligence and her know-how from not only event planning and coordinating large things, but also what she knows about the firearms industry. So got her and a bunch of friends, and then the second day we go out and we shoot guns. But you're not just shooting; you're being trained. A lot of people think they know firearms. I'm like, yeah, I can put an 8-year-old behind the wheel of a car. They're not a driver, right? So we get you out there, and I call upon my friends in the industry that I have a lot of respect for that do this and charge a lot of money to do it. But they come out and they'll give you hour and a half this year will be the time limit, and you'll get kind of speed dating with these instructors. But we're not just going to cover the gun. You're going to talk about the gun. We're going to do rifle. We're going to do pistol, but we're also going to do some hand-to-hand stuff, right? Let people know how important that is. So we have hand-to-hand instructors coming in. Ryan Fit to Fight, Ryan and Amber with Fit to Fight are coming in to bless us with hand-to-hand. We have Mr. Lakil Bay, who is over 2 decades as a Green Beret, is coming out to teach us medical. We have Kurt with Prevectus Group. He's got former military veteran. He's coming in to teach us handguns. And then we have Brett, who is also a great trainer with the PDN network. He's coming in to teach us rifle. And so we do that. Then at the end of the day, we want to teach people how to do soft networking. So last year we did a large bonfire, and we had LVD Cigars, which was Javon, who came on last time. We had her come out, and she did a cigar and bourbon pairing, right? And we sat around a large bonfire, and we had bourbon once we were done with guns and cigars. And for the people who never got to do some really cool stuff like shoot night vision, we actually, before they got to drinking, obviously, we let them go operate night vision so they can have that experience. And that's why I brought this doohickey out tonight, because we have a lot of
firearms go hand in hand.
No, they really don't. They really don't.
That night,
so we let people
really at night.
Well, no, this is Now you're not gonna drink and put my thing. No, that's a lot of money. We're not gonna have that. But we teach them the soft networking skills. So while you're out here, this is a great opportunity to network. You're around 60 individuals that do what you do in some way. And then the third day is all about collaboration and prizes and gifts and things like that. And we also allow manufacturers to put their products in front of people, because we have to understand from a manufacturer standpoint, if I want people talking about my thing in the freedom community, we don't have the luxury of always just being able to use regular broadcast TV. Wow. So because you're restricted. So these manufacturers, you have to understand their plight. You know, they got hundreds of people every day emailing them saying, hey, send me this widget, right? And so their cost is really extensive because they're trying to supplement for their marketing budgets, right? But what if I can put you in front of 60 people who have already donated them times to better their craft? And all you have to do is show up instead of mailing it out to 60 people. So then they get a platform as well. So it really works for everybody. And they get to see, hey, I would love to sponsor this person because I've been watching them the last 2 days. They've been working their butts off. So then it also allows them to do an interview process without, having to set meetings for 30, 40 minutes at a time, hope it works out, things like that. So we're looking at a way to help everybody, manufacturers, influencers, where we can build this industry up. Because if you don't have a good business sense and know-how, or at minimum some good charisma and pretending like you know what you're doing, then we're going to keep seeing these great people that can continue to push us forward. They're going to come in a year and a half, 2 years, they're going to flame out because they just don't have the know-how or the support. So we want to give them both.
Okay.
That's
nice.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Cool. I mean, that's an awesome get together, and
what a great event.
Conceptually, that's fantastic, and I'm sure the folks that are there, the feedback that you get must be pretty profound.
Yeah, first year it was good, and then Jerah took over and it got better. Go ahead.
Well, Kevin, before we get there, can you tell our listeners how they can actually get involved or check this out?
Yeah, the event itself is for people who are either already sort of social media Second Amendment style influencers, or firearms trainers, or people who are kind of maybe wanting to get into that industry and learn a little bit better, like how to handle their weapon. I mean, you're being trained by some of the best people in the world, right? I mean, we had, Dustin Pluth was out there. He's a really, really, really amazing competition handgun shooter. I believe with Springfield Armory, and then, Ken Scott with Prevectus Group, who, I mean, this guy is a subject matter expert in low light shooting, rifle. He taught us a really, really kick-ass class about taking cover behind cars kind of thing. You get to do a lot of really cool stuff. There's like the hand-to-hand people. We had a guy teaching blades, like how to throw knives and stuff, because you just never really know what weapon is going to be at your disposal, if you're not going to have your firearm with you. So yes, absolutely. What's the website, Kevin, for people to sign up?
So you just go to nootherchoice.com, all spelled out, nootherchoice.com. Look for Train and Learn. It's at the top above the banner. You will see something that says Train and Learn. Click it there. All the details are there, or you can hit the training tab, and it's one of the training classes as well. So it's really, really easy to see it at nootherchoice.com. And it's called Train and Learn.
And what's the cost that you?
So you get the 3 days.
You ain't
gonna
believe this.
Well, people are asking. That's why we're asking.
So you get the 3 days of training. All right. Now it's for the professional industry. So or people aspire to be professionals, like Jerah said. But you get the 3 days of training. We feed you 3 times, and we give you a gift. Like last year, we gave you a pour bourbon and cigar. So you get all 3 days. You get the gift. You get the swag bag. You get the teaching. We feed you 3 times. You get all that for $350.
Oh,
that's great deal!
Wow,
man.
Wow.
Hold on.
Yeah, you got to get out to
Take my money. Take my money.
I was going to pay for the 4 chooches right now.
There's my credit card. Just charge that.
And the best,
Anthony James, I hope he answered that for you.
How cool would it be, guys, if we were there doing a podcast from that event? How cool would
the thing is this, that would be right after we go to Texas, Arlington, right? That, Jerah, are we right into the same?
It's going to be May. So this is a May event. The groundbreaking for the memorial, the March.
Ronnie's not good with dates.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
He's got short-term memory. Have you met 10-second Ron here?
Yeah, that's
all right.
Yeah,
but
Kyle, so it's over before
the best part of the event is the networking that you get, like the people that you meet who are teaching this, who are coming to this. Man, they're wonderful people, and you get a lot of content creation. I mean, you in this one weekend, there are people who make content that lasts them for a year or even more.
Wow.
You know, and that's really, really important. I have a different take on what I feel like gun content is for me. But there's people like, you can, if you wanted to do the gun bunny thing, you could do the gun bunny thing. If you wanted to just sit down and interview somebody that is inspiring to you at the event, you can do that. A lot of people film themselves, shooting, and then they cut it up and produce it. And it's just a lot of really good content, a lot of really good networking. And if you have any interest at all in firearms, making any kind of part-time or full-time career out of it, or kind of maybe just seeing what's all about, man, you need to get out there.
Mm-hmm.
We have a interesting question. I like this question from our buddy Joe. Jerah and Kevin, Springfield or Glock, and why? Not that he wants to ruin any relationships that you may have with those companies.
You know what? I'll say it right now. Glock has had a little bit of controversy in the recent weeks. So there are people that are kind of going away from Glock. I'm a Glock girl. I enjoy the simplicity of it. I don't need a safety. I think that I think that a lot of people are in agreement that once you get to a certain level with shooting, a safety is just whatever. But there are a lot of people that like having a safety, and Glock doesn't offer that. So, this is like asking somebody what their, favorite whiskey or bourbon is, or favorite cigar. Palates are different, so you're going to get a different answer from everyone.
Yeah, I think for me, if you made me choose, I'm definitely going to go Glock. One, I'm relatively biased. Literally, where I'm sitting at right now, literally from door to door, I'm 1.3 miles away from Glock's HQ. So I'm right around the corner, right?
You're listening tonight, so yes, go Glock.
Yeah, and I've done some training over there, but it's funny. In my world, what I do, everybody says that I hate Glocks because I have my own signature line of gun, and I didn't choose Glocks to build them on. So everybody's like, "Oh, you hate Glocks." So when people see me with a Glock, it's like a running joke. But I actually do. I like Glocks, and I'm gonna go with, because of the way that the Glocks function. They're simple but very effective. They're tried and true, and that doesn't mean any other gun is not great. It just means that, Glock, if you're asking me for that particular comparison, between, the barrel swaps between the one big thing for me, and I advise anybody, like if you're really going to get into the gun thing, I like to pick platforms that are reliable. We get that out the way, but what about the aftermarket support? That's big to me. I want to know that I can find holsters, lights are going to work, different things like that, optics ready and stuff like that. People that, if I need to mess with the gun and build it up, break it down, build it up, Glocks are a lot simpler than a lot of platforms. I'm a big HK fan, but I'll even have to admit that if you want to field strip and clean a Glock, that's going to be a lot simpler. They want to do an HK or any other firearm, right? So, and that comparison, for a lot of reasons, I have to get that to Glock.
Yeah, I could tell you this: my everyday carry is the Springfield XDS.
They let you have one out there?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
You got to remember, I used to roll with the police department too. So
that's right. Well, Kevin, I want to clarify something that you said, because the Glock thing is not really the running joke about you.
There you go.
Come on, folks. Can you watch? Everybody, you know, the answer is coming up.
So,
watch party going.
Yeah, that's not.
Cover his eyes. Look at that. He's covering his eyes.
He knows what I'm about to say. So Kevin likes to drink creamer in the morning with a little bit of coffee. And Kevin,
hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear.
Rap name is Six Creamers.
Six Creamers.
Whoa. God.
And let me just tell you, like, this was a whole ass situation when I discovered this.
You could get rid of her now. Just give us a word.
You know what? I will say this. I used to have a nice head full of hair. I'm talking about waves busting in the whole 9 yards. And I got friends with Jerah. I was friends with Jerah for like 6 months, and this happened. Look at that. After being friends with her, I just took it all away.
And look at me with all my hair. I got all my hair.
If you cut it all off, we can wear wigs. Don't worry about it.
Jeez.
I mean, Choo-Choos, I'm here to tell you, I went to St. Louis to kind of look over the space because we were moving, train, and learn from one venue to another, and he took me out for breakfast, and the lady brings the coffee, and you know how those like diner coffee mugs is they're real thick, so there's really not a lot of coffee in there. And so she sets the coffee down, and I'm just you know how I do this, you know, and I just see him 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, and I'm still talking, but I'm observing.
That's called lying.
That's just a lie, man.
And that it was like coming out. It was white. Okay.
Well, he's having a little
and
coffee
it was like
with milk.
coming over the top, and he's having to do this shit. You know, so the coffee gonna come over. And I was like, I set my fork down, and I'm like, what? Hold up. What is going on here? I ain't never seen nobody drink their coffee like this before. And so, you know, now, and then here's where, like, so one Instagram post, there's a picture of him going with the 6 creamers around it, like the broken up open creamers. And I was like, this fool is dubbed hashtag 6 creamers. And now it's a whole ass thing all up in the gun industry.
Welcome to the show, Kevin. I knew you were on.
It's going to be a roast.
I will own it. I will admit
Only
to
on this show do we talk about coffee this way.
This is true.
I haven't made it through puberty yet, man. I can't drink it back.
Well, Kevin, I mean, there's a point of drinking it black or drinking it milk. I mean, you're drinking milk.
Hey! I have a love for cocoa, okay? And it's bad if I just start drinking all my kids' cocoa. So I have to get some coffee and make it work. All right? I'm not gonna jump me on this show. I didn't come here to get beat up.
We could roast you. I mean,
and I'm having about 6 creamers right now.
I knew it. So,
I thought you were having a glass of milk when I saw it.
I like the flavors, and then the creamers coming out of cool flavors. You got the hazelnut, and I got a Snickers the other day. My favorite is Almond Joy. You got the Southern Butter Pecan. I mean, what am I supposed to do?
How about a lady and a cigar says peanut butter whiskey with coffee?
Ooh,
interesting. How about that one?
What is that? What is that a thing?
Screwball. Screwball peanut butter whiskey.
Screwball.
Yeah. Screwball with coffee.
But do we
I think he's gonna
categorize
try it.
flavored whiskeys as whiskeys though? I mean,
No.
We don't.
No, we don't
Okay,
do
so
that.
you are definitely a snob.
we're also.
I'm picking up on the
snotty
personalities
asses.
now. He's a snob.
Yeah. I mean, when you said that, Kyle, I almost clutched my pearls. I'm like, no, we do not.
And you're a snob too.
He's
I
snob.
am.
Whiskey police.
Oh, I know. We were at, somebody offered me Crown at the Train and Learn, and I was like,
No Crown?
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, he's too bougie, man. He's too bougie.
I will not drink it.
She's too
I will
bougie.
not drink Crown.
Yeah,
I
that
am.
Crown,
I
that
am.
Crown. I'm not a Crown fan, but the Crown Apple is pretty damn good, and so is Old Camp Pecan whiskey. That shit is delicious.
Okay.
It really is.
Pecan
But I mean,
whiskey.
yeah, but I'm gonna tell you, my what whiskey is my? I really like the Four Brothers. I've really become a big fan of those. For something that's affordable, you can have, you can keep for a while. I like the Four Brothers. What's the other whiskey in there that I really like? Uncle Nearest is that's a bourbon.
Okay.
But Uncle Nearest is actually pretty good. But I'm not really I'm not a snob like you two. And I almost don't even want to tell you what I got in the house because I'm scared of being attacked again. So I'm just gonna.
You better keep it to yourself.
Here's a good one. Here's a good one from Tank. Tank says Crown is good only for a free storage bag.
That was just mean. That was just mean.
That was low.
That was low. But I don't drink Crown either. Crown Apple is about the only one I'll drink. I've never really understood Crown. Personally.
I have one bottle of Crown in my collection, but it's unopened. And the only reason I got it was because it was the year that the Blackhawks won the championship, and they came in a collector's Crown Blackhawks bag. I had to get it. That was it. And it just sits there.
I feel like it's a lame reason. Lame.
It's there.
Yeah,
it's there. I had to.
What can I say? The Blues, that's what I got to deal with.
I mean, what do you mean? What are you gonna say? Hey, don't cross the line here. All right, now we're getting along. We're trying to get along. All right. I will give you guys this. Your Blackhawks are a beast. I'm gonna honor skill when I see skill.
Not no more.
Yeah, we're slipping.
Yeah, but they suck because the last time I checked, I think we won the Stanley. I don't think you guys are gonna see it for a while.
Yeah, it's a rebuilding.
Look for the Rangers.
Hey, at least your Cubs got one.
Yeah, they did.
I think we got like 12 or something, but I mean, you got one.
Hey, and even better, our White Sox got one too. So
Yeah, and your White Sox. Look, both sides of town. I am so
Yeah,
proud of you. What was that? 2005?
Hey, you watched the Sox this year. I mean, we made a run last year. We're gonna make a run this year. You watch it.
Okay.
I don't think he believes.
I feel like this could get very heated.
No, nothing but love. Nothing but love.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
We got a smoke in our hand, a drink in our hand. I mean, it's all about
So, love. Kevin, tell us what you got inside. We just want to know what you think.
What I got inside. No.
Kentucky Deluxe.
Nah. Now, one thing I won't do is I will not drink cheap stuff because I don't drink a lot. So when I do, it's got to be right. Like I cannot drink Kristoff. Like
wild turkey.
What am I? No. And you know what the crazy part is? I've never even drunk it. But because I've seen,
it's not very forgiving.
No.
It's not very forgiving.
Wild turkey is something you do on your 21st birthday. Okay.
I did it.
There's only one thing you do with wild turkey. You hunt it.
Amen.
What would you shoot with a wild turkey? Let's talk back to that conversation. What's the best to take down a wild turkey?
I mean, if you're gonna have a wild turkey, then you're gonna use 12 gauge, maybe in a 20 gauge, probably a 20 gauge.
20
really.
gauge.
I probably want to hit a turkey with 22
if you really want to try to be slick.
Yeah, is there a state you can actually hunt them with 22s though?
Probably not, but you do it illegally. Who's going to find out?
I think in Wisconsin, you can use whatever you want to.
Anything you want in Wisconsin. And yes,
we'll throw a shoe at it.
The guy from the guy that wears the crazy pants that works for Rock Island Armor?
Yeah. Yep.
He was telling me about like hunting prairie dogs with a 22 TCM. Which is basically you two just don't even know what that is. It's a 22 in a 9mm casing, so it's loud as hell. Little bitty projectile, boom.
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is? That was the first animal I've ever shot was a prairie dog, and I knocked his head off with a 300. It was funny. Yeah, and I learned something very interesting about them animals because I was out with Lucid Optics. Jason's a really good dude, and we was taking him back to the airport, and we're in Wyoming. You know, it's like nobody lives there. And he's like, hey, we can just pull over on the side of the road and shoot stuff. I'm like, yes, let's do this. On the way back to the airport. And the prairie dog peeks his head out the hole, gives me a rifle. I see the prairie dog. I'm like, cool, bam, I hit it, right? And I saw the bullet splatter. I saw it. We're 25 yards, no more than 27 to make a stretch, right, from this thing. And I walk over to it, and I'm all happy because it'd be the first animal I ever shot, right? So I get over to it. I'm like, I'm all happy. And then all I see is a trail of blood. That's it. I'm like, where the damn? And I'm thinking maybe I evaporated the damn thing. I don't know. But then he's laughing at me because I'm frantically looking for this prairie dog. And he's like, well, they're cannibalistic. So when I shot it, one of them that was in the hole drugged the carcass away and they ate it.
Wow. Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And there's not just one taking its head out. There's a ton of them out in the field.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like fucking whack-a-mole.
Oh, it is.
You know,
I heard a little rumor that what people really like to do, just a rumor, okay? I heard a little rumor that what people like to do is take beer cans out, leave a little bit of the beer just at the bottom to leak out, poke a little hole at the bottom of it, let the beer leak out, kind of give them something to, smell and taste, and they fill the rest of it with tannerite and have a little string. I heard a rumor. Just a rumor. All right.
Hold that story. Right. We got to take care of some business, though. Keep that story. We're coming back to that one. Let's hear some from our sponsors.
RnA Treasures out of Tampa Bay, Florida. The last of a legacy. The last of an inventory of Thomas Cristiano in a warehouse where everything is aged and well kept for all your pipe and smoking needs. Loyalty, passion, courage. These are the founding principles of K by Karen Berger Cigars. The Maduro, the Habano, and the newly rated 93 by Cigar Journal Connecticut. Do yourself a favor and check out this wonderful line of cigars that come from a completely linear company from seed to your hands.
At Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco, we specialize solely in the finest hand-rolled, craft, and boutique cigars on the market. Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco is sure to have something that will excite you. Shop our online humidor at www.mountainsmokewv.com.
It all begins at the very first climate-controlled Rodriguez Olivan cigar factory located in the Dominican Republic. Our two major brands include Don Olivan, which are boutique cigars suited for that individual who takes great pride in something unique. BAMF is our armed forces cigars designed for that badass mother effer. Not only are you smoking a great premium cigar, a percentage of the proceeds is donated to our heroic men and women in uniform.
Boom shakalaka.
Okay.
All right.
So
I like Ronnie trying to figure it out without Kyle there. You see him trying to figure out the board? I love that. I love when that comes.
Wow, Frank, man, I just felt it all over myself. Was that a 12 game?
Okay, so Kevin, I have to tell you a quick little Tannerite story. I'm so glad you brought that up because Tannerite's so fun. So I had just built this gun range in Fort Worth, and this lady calls me up and she wanted to do a gender reveal party. Okay, so shooting gender reveal parties are super popular now. Okay, and so I was trying to figure out, like, how am I going to do this at an indoor range, right? So I ordered the powder, the pink and the pink powder, the blue powder, and my first thought was I'm gonna let him shoot tannerite, but it's going to be like this much, right? But I had to test it out, right? So I put I got a little baggie. I'm talking like this big, okay? And I put just that much tannerite in it, and I taped it to the back of a cardboard target. And I put a little X there. And then we used to actually do a Bible study at my gun range that was once a month in the mornings. And we called it Men and Women of Caliber. And the guy who was the pastor for the Bible study was like, I want to shoot it. So I give him the rifle to shoot it. He misses 3 freaking times. I was like, dude, I'm about to have to take it away from you. Well, he hits it on the 4th time. And when I tell you, the fireball, it was this much tannerite.
Oh.
The fireball on this thing lit up the whole back. It was a 6-lane, 25-yard thing. And it was like this. And I was like, okay, that ain't gonna work.
Well, that was Satan that he just nailed, I guess.
Right.
It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, nobody need know. So I ended up figuring out another way to do it in a Coke bottle with some PSI. We shot that instead. It was fine. But oh my God, tannerite and prairie dogs. Did you do it?
I didn't get a chance to try the rumor out, but I just heard it's a rumor. Maybe I might, in my fantasy dream, go back later this year. I don't know.
I'm just wondering if we could do this at trailer.
I will talk to management about that.
Yeah, because you're the management. So I'm talking to management right now. So okay, Kevin. So tell everybody about your philanthropic stuff. Tell them about No Other Choice, what you do in the urban communities.
Okay, so I guess I can start with No Other Choice. So I am a firearms instructor, have been for the better part of 20 years. And it started because I took a job with the St. Louis City Police Department. I was 21 years old. I worked in the prison. That was my job. And I noticed that there was an imbalance in the world. There were actually walking, talking monsters that I had to deal with on a daily basis. That was what I got paid to do. And that was, revealing. But I'm also from the inner city. So, crime and violence and stuff like that wasn't new to me. But I'm talking a different level. I'm talking not only your robbers, I'm talking about your rapists, your serial killers, really, really bad people. And then you had pretty good people, right? People no different than all of us. And what they would do is they would think that self-defense was common sense. So they would do things, hit somebody with this or shoot at somebody because of this, and they weren't understanding the law. And I realized that when we had the boom in the early 2000s of a lot of schools, we had a lot of guys coming back from military service, from all the the fights in the desert. And it was the tactical boom, right? It was after 9/11. It was all about tactics and more militant style, this and that. That's great. That's cool. It all has its place. But what I realized that we have a lot of people that are doing things and don't have an education. So what's the point of arming the populace and lose 25% of them to prison? That's not a good thing. Right. Mm-hmm. So when I started No Other Choice, that's the mentality. Be at a point of no other choice before you ever use a firearm against another human being in a negative manner. Unless you or another individual are going to be harmed in the process. Stay in God's grace and mercy to others as you want to extend it to you. They put your back against the wall and you've exhausted all your options. Then I'm going to teach you how to do the thing and do the thing very efficiently. And you're going to go home, have a bowl of frosted flakes, and go to sleep. Mm-hmm. Right? We're going to change. I wanted to change the mentality of what it was. So I took advantage of the fact that I was around a lot of great firearms instructors, and I'm a kid. I'm the dude that went to the range the first time. Walked into the academy, the academy range, and I went in there, and there were like 70 guns laying out, and literally I had drool coming out of my mouth. Like it was beautiful. And I'm the guy, and I'm the kid that was asking the questions like, "Hey, get on the firearm line." If anybody's ever been in law enforcement, qualifications are a joke. They just are. So we're standing out there, and I'm shooting. I'm like, yeah, I'm hitting the target, but why? And literally, my first question is, what made this thing go bang? I wanted to know, like. I know it's a cartridge, and I understand that I'm pulling the trigger, but what's making it go bang? And so the guys were annoyed by me until I just kept asking, and eventually they kind of took me under their wing and really started teaching me the way of the gun. And then that kind of fostered. So when I left that line of work, I did that. I did 14 years of secondary high-level security and bodyguard and work, executive protection, things of that nature. Made a lot of good money doing it. Decided that I wanted to, get out because I wasn't at peace, and I grew up in violence, and now I'm dealing with violence every day. Like, I want to just be at peace. So I decided to leave that line of work altogether, go out and get a college education, which is something that's near and dear to my heart. I wanted to be able to prove that because neither one of my parents even graduated high school. So I wanted to go out and do that. So I did that. And then I just decided that what I did not want to do is leave my fellow American citizens out there starving for information and education. So when it comes to the self-defense aspect, I continued on with that. And now I've had the pleasure of teaching thousands of individuals. And in the last couple of years, I've had 4 or 5 students have to put bad guys in the ground, and all my students went home. Right. So, and that's what No Other Choice is all about. We're not about, threatening people with guns. We're not about hurting them, but you're going to go home. Or you're going to do your damnedest trying to get there. And that's what I wanted people to know. So I train military law enforcement, have a lot, but my heart is with the regular person who doesn't want to feel intimidated when they come out to the range because they don't have all the gear, they don't have all the cool stuff. I mean, I got the plate carriers. I got several of them in my basement right now. I have all the cool Wizmos. I got the night vision. I got all the good jazz. But guess what? Most American people, they're not going to get that deep into it, right? They might just have a handgun, maybe a shotgun at home, and they just want to go to work, their carpentry job, their plumbing job, running a real estate company or whatever, and they just want to make it from Walmart back home. And I want to make sure I'm an asset for them. So nice. There was born No Other Choice.
Well, thank you,
Kevin. Thank you so much.
No problem. It's my absolute pleasure. Yeah, I don't want people, feeling like, hey, if I don't show up to the range, and I even have a rule. One of my rules is we tease each other because we're going to do that, right? Yes. But we don't demean someone because of what they own. I'll put you off my range. Mm-hmm. Like we're gonna be there. We're gonna help people if they don't have the right gear and equipment. Hell, I've given people guns. I've given them to them. Right? We'll go do the paperwork and I'll give them a gun because I understand that they're trying to do the right thing. I've given people the gear off my belt at the end of class, right? Because it's all about helping your fellow person. It's good versus evil at the end of the day, right? So I want to help you be the most dangerous and patient, good person you can. So evil regrets the moment they mess with you. And then there's my philanthropy work through Aiming for the Truth. So Aiming for the Truth is my community outreach program. And I am a product of the inner city. I'm from St. Louis, from an area called Walnut Park. So I'm from the worst part of the city. And I grew up around everything, drug dealing, prostitution. I'm talking about at my front door. It wasn't like I had to watch the news to see it. And so I grew up in chaos. I was tossed around in foster care. I was raped and molested while I was in foster care. I was, a product of a mom that had me at 14 years old. She was just trying to figure it out. And I had to do a lot in life in order to make it. And so when I started, being this little civil rights community outreach guy at 15, 16 years old, I wanted to make sure that a lot of people in my direct environment, because that's all I knew, I wanted to make sure that they understood that there had to be something more to life. It had to be something more than what we were seeing. It had to be something more than coming outside that day, mourning another one of your friends. And I lived across the street, literally. When I looked at my corner, the corner of my street, there was a tombstone retailer. And across the street was the city's largest cemetery. So death and destruction were a part of my everyday life. Wow. And I knew it had to be more. There had to be more for my community. There had to be more we can aspire to be. And I didn't want to fall victim to this trap. And so I started kind of motivating people. I'm 16, 17 years. I mean, I'm doing my best, right? I'm trying to figure it out. Talking to my friends, getting them to, kind of leave some of the stuff that, people had to do to survive alone and kind of go the hard path. And what I realized is that I, quote unquote, made it out, right? Yeah. At the same time, when you, quote unquote, make it out, remember, there are a lot of people that wish they had the blueprint to be able to do the same thing. And making it out doesn't mean leaving. Making it out means escaping the mentality. It doesn't mean leaving your area. It means escaping the mentality. So I decided to continue, and I wanted to not blame a gun. I'm not going to we can look at the reasons that violence is rampant, right? We can look at all the reasons, but I'm not about blaming one particular thing. And so I was sitting and I was just talking and I was like, we're just going to aim for the truth. and we're gonna go for the roots around violence. So we started, me and a couple of people that I recruited, we started teaching literacy classes. So we were teaching young men how to read and write. We were teaching kids how to read and write. I partnered with the NFL for a couple of years through Tony Dungy All-Pro Dad program. We put 120 fathers back into the lives of their kids, where we ran seminars and we brought these fathers that had been away from their kids. And, thank you. So to break those generational curses, which is another problem, we helped introduce the dads. And I mean, it wasn't just, hey, this is what you do. I mean, we let those kids, you want to hurt a parent, let the kid talk to them, right? Like you'll really, get to them. And so we had these grown men and kids like telling their truth, crying, building bonds. So, my last count was 120 dads that we can account for that are back in our kids' lives. Mental health, I suffered from, because of my upbringing, I suffered from clinical depression and anxiety for right around 15 years of my life. And as I was defeating that, I realized that a lot of people, we send our boys and girls off to war, say they do one tour, they come back in 4 years, they got this thing called PTSD. And I'm like, that's horrible. But imagine what it's like for a kid growing up like I did. You do it for 4 years. I've been doing it for 24 years. My PTSD is pretty damn high too. So we had to make sure that we I help people understand that mental health is okay, and we're going to address it. The first time I picked up a gun, it's no secret, I've told this nationally. The first time I actually picked up a gun, I shot my friend's parents' Tomcat that he found, and I visualized suicide. So my first interaction with a gun, I wanted to kill myself.
Wow.
And I wanted people to understand that we can take control of anything that we think is meant to destroy us, from your surroundings, your upbringing, whatever it may be, firearms, violence. And so that's what we do through Aiming for the Truth. So, I mean, we've taken, I don't know how many dozens upon dozens of kids out, educated them, coached a lot of young men up, gave people a lot of opportunities, donated a lot of money. I mean, we paid rent, we've paid electric bills, we've helped, pay some small expenses for kids to go off to college. I've helped, give recommendation letters for jobs. We help people get jobs almost all the time. So it's just a way of giving back and really aiming for the truth. Let's fix what's at the root, and it's causing the human, the machine, the human to be violent. Thus, if we can build better communities, we can have better regions, better states, a better country. And so I dig back into the dirt and try to help people fix the root causes of what's wrong. So that's what we do with Aiming for the Truth.
Wow, Kevin.
That's amazing.
Kevin, thank you so much for sharing your story. I appreciate you sharing your personal life stories with us and being an outlet for yourself on our show and everything. And getting back to the anyone that ever has suicidal thoughts. I mean, I'm not going to speak for everyone here, but anyone that's listening to the show, if you do have suicidal thoughts, please reach out to somebody to talk to. If you don't have anyone to reach out to me. I will be there to listen to you. I will help you out. I will do whatever I can in my power to make sure that you're a better person, because nobody should ever have the feelings of going through something like that. It's not a good place to be in. It's dark thoughts, dark head, dark way to go. Just know that there are people out there that will love you and appreciate you for everything that you are.
Absolutely. Yeah. And one of the things that one of the stories that I really like to tell about Kevin is, he really brings awareness to his why when it comes to the Second Amendment and the byproducts of what the Second Amendment can teach. And everybody has their why. So there are a lot of women that really get into the Second Amendment belief system because of domestic violence. And we talked in a different episode about what I do to help women who are victims of domestic violence. And I was a domestic violence survivor myself. But, and then women typically also get into this because, we're the physically weaker sex. But there's a whole different aspect and a whole different kind of battle that I think minority communities have to face when it comes to self-protection. And that was one of the greatest things that Kevin was able to show me is, I wasn't training with a lot of people outside of my race when I first got into this game. And when I when I kind of went to the train and learn, and when I did some other things that would kind of diversified my friend group, Kevin, I was able to really kind of hear Kevin talk about some of the things that the African American community deals with. And it was kind of unbelievable to me. And I remember telling him that, and he goes, I will take you there. He goes, if you're brave enough to go, I'll show you. And he took me to the hood in St. Louis, where the cemetery is longer than the neighborhood. And we drove through it. We drove through a place where I would likely be killed if I was there by myself. We went there, and he showed me that there's no grocery stores in these in these sort of urban areas. So like the way that they eat is different, and how they get food is different. And politicians don't go into these places unless it's an election year. The educational system is messed up. So like seeing that firsthand, and like hearing people say, that they didn't even know that they could own a gun. They didn't think they could own a gun legally simply because they were Black. It's a heartbreaking thing. And it's something that I think that a lot of people on social media and a lot of politicians, they talk about it in ignorance because many of them have never gone there, and they don't know, and they haven't seen. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's one of the things that Kevin and people like him in this industry really do a good job of, is they're trying to bring that awareness. And not only are they trying to bring awareness to what's missing in these communities and the resources that they're lacking, but he's also going into those communities and teaching those people the right way to do things. Because education is power. Knowledge is power.
Absolutely. Hey, Kevin, can you tell us again your website and all? We got people asking, come to Chicago, come to Mississippi, come to lots of places here. We got Mississippi, we got Chicago. People want
any big city, right? Any big city today is a problem. Yeah.
So the website is nootherchoice.com. It's the website. Email address is attached to it, but it's info@nootherchoice.com. Aiming for the Truth. You can find that program just by simply plugging that into all your social media platforms. Aiming for the Truth. And then my other social media handles are for other reasons. It's The Real, like The Real, then NOC for No Other Choice. The Real NOC. And you can see a lot of different stuff that I do there. One thing that I would like to expound upon is when Jerah mentions, and she did everything she said. She wanted to know. She wanted to see the insight. That's one thing I want to kind of point out to a lot of different people. And we all come from different cultures. We come from different neighborhoods where we all have a different experience, right? America is to be viewed through multiple lenses. It amazes me that we understand that we are the land of immigrants. That give us your poor, and we'll give them a land of freedom. And then we only think that there's one American way, and there's not. There are many different lenses that you view America. So there are still, right now to this day, which me and several other people are really trying to debunk, there are a lot of minority individuals that think seriously for them to touch a gun, for a Black person to touch a gun is illegal, right? Because they've been taught that. So it's not even a stretch. It's like, are you sure I can come? How many messages I got when I first started doing this thing publicly of people saying I was going to go to prison just because I was Black with a gun. So we have to understand that the way that a lot of the communities are attacked. For example, when we talk about freedom in this country, one date that rings true to everybody is 1776, right? You see it on the flags, you see it on T-shirts, and nothing's wrong with understanding your American history. I mean, hell, if 1776 didn't happen, I don't even know if we will be able to talk right now, right? So it's obviously very, very important. And people are like, freedom, freedom, freedom. And when I give people the simple truth, you don't have to be emotional. This isn't about politics. This is just a simple truth. You do understand in 1776, I wasn't even considered human. So what freedom for me? Yeah. By law, I was no different than a horse, right? So there was not the year of freedom. Hell, in 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, we eradicated an entire Black community over a lie in a day. Eradicated it, tore it down, stripped us of businesses, stripped us of finances and wealth, tore it apart. And it's nicknamed America's Black Eye. And it just recently, and I'm going to take some credit for it, because when I started screaming about it, then eventually it slowly started creeping back out. Then eventually I did interview after interview after interview, including being privileged to grace the cover of Time magazine. And when I kept talking about this stuff, and then it's like, oh, so now Hollywood's got attached to it. Now they're finding the mass graves and everything else in Tulsa. But there was Red Summer was horrible. So you go through all that slaughter. And what I'm trying to get America to understand is America's had what? 200, how old is America now? 250-ish years old?
A little bit more.
Give or take. 250-ish years old. You do understand that in this country, I didn't even get civil rights on paper till the late 60s. So if America's had 250 years to get it together, and I've only had 45 years to get it together, why the hell are you so hard on me? Right? So we have to start really having those kind of conversations and understanding. And then when people do get into the, and I don't have a political side. That's not my thing. But when people, I seek the truth, and that's what I do. But when people start talking about, you know, you'll hear a lot of people that lean to, you know, the conservative side of the political aisle, and that's fine. And they'll say things like, hey, that the opposite side, the left, is the party of racism. They're the party of hatred. They've done this. They've been running these inner city areas for 70, 80 years. Look what they've done. And I'm not saying anything that they say is untrue. But this is why I tell America they don't like to address their own truth that they put out. I'm like, okay. So I would ask those same people, does a thing called systemic racism exist? And they would say no. I'm like, that's interesting. So you mean to tell me that there is a political structure that's been controlling these urban areas that is ran by racists, that is the party of racism, and they have no interest in making racist policies that are guiding the school systems, that are guiding the local politics, that are writing the prison sentences in these states? You sure there's none? And then people just get real quiet. I'm like, America, we have to really start to understand, get away from your TV, get away from the conversation of 13% responsible for 52%, which is one of my favorite stats. And here's an argument that I refuse to actually have because it's mean, but I will point out a statistical fact. Let me ask you guys a question. And it's a simple question. You can't give a right or wrong answer. If we had a crystal ball here, and I can tell you, hey, next Wednesday at 7:00, you are going to get into a shootout. It's going to happen. Okay. You're going to get into, I can't tell you if you're going to win or lose. I can tell you it's a bad guy approaching you and you're going to try to defend your life. I can give you that much, right? Yeah. But I can't tell you if you're going to win or lose that fight. However, there is only one way for you to avoid that fight. It'll never happen. You walk away from the fight and a child in your vicinity somewhere, an innocent kid, a child, is going to get raped and molested by that same individual you refuse to have that gunfight with. Are you going to have the gunfight and hope to win, or are you going to let that guy go off into the darkness and go violate a child?
Could have nailed him one way or another. Go down.
I'm going to shot.
Shoot him.
Right. And you're going to, win, lose, or draw, I'm going to get into this damn fight, right? So we can acknowledge that our children are our most precious commodity. That's going to be the first thing that most people want to defend. Yes. Crime is a problem, sure, but I'm going to prevent something immoral from happening to these children. That's going to be my hyper focus. That's going to be my drive. Well, when people get out and they get lost in their political ways and they're like, well, 13% of the population is responsible for 52% of the crime. I'm like, cool. You know who's responsible for 62% of the rape and molestation of children in this country? White men. So what if I was to then start saying, well, we have to do something about all these white men that are out violating these children? That would sound very mean. White men are going to feel attacked. The white men that love their families, protect their families. Hell, we're victims of a thing like that themselves and resent that. They resent that being cast upon them, right? And I would understand them resenting that because that's a hell of a thing to say to somebody. But the many times that I have to deal with people that throw that 52% in my face when they do no work, to Jerah's point, you have no understanding. You haven't tried to do anything about it. I grew up in the hood all my life. I have yet to see a Republican walk my streets.
Right.
What I do is I see them yelling from the TV about how bad it is, but they never run for office in my area. So we have a lot of misinformation in this country. And really the way you fix it is by simply having a conversation. No trying to win an argument. Right. There is no winning the argument. It's exchange information to have a conversation. And that's kind of what my thing has been. So I'm known for punching you in the mouth, but it's for your better. It's for the betterment of you, right? Because I'm not going to sit back and let people not only attack people that I relate to, I'm also not going to allow people that I really think are good people overall to continue to spew venom, because you're not really going to get the country you want if we don't sit down and have a conversation. Forget the news, forget your favorite news pundit, your political pundit, forget all of them. What about me and you sitting down at a table with some whiskey and a cigar and having a conversation about this country?
Amen.
And that's
more of that. That's the thing. We need more of that.
We need more of just sitting down, having a cigar and a drink, and that's how people come together and ultimately solve problems, not create more of them.
Oh yeah.
Well, you see that when you go into a cigar lounge.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what you do for a living, what the color of your skin is. All of a sudden, you're having a conversation, and you become friends. And literally, in a matter of minutes,
I said it on my first podcast with you guys.
Yes,
I was
you
like,
did.
the world's
Yes, you
problems
did.
would be solved in 2 weeks.
Yep.
If all
There
the
you
world's
go.
leaders would get together over a cigar and a whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Kevin, can I
Sweet.
just listen for a second and ask you, when did you get interested in cigars?
I was just going to ask him that,
Yeah.
Bob. I was just
Yeah,
going
it was-
to get into it. Let's talk
it was
about
funny.
the cigars.
So my everybody will understand if I use the term stepdad. So my stepfather, he's recently passed away, but about 6 years ago,
Sorry for you.
he said, "Hey, we had really great manly conversations, right? And we would always have it at the family functions. All the women will be over here, and we would go off to the side. And me and him, we just really talked it up about life and about the deeper things in life. And he was like, "Hey, I know something that you will really enjoy." He's like, because I don't smoke, I don't do anything. At the time, I didn't anyway. He was like, just hear me out. So we went to this cigar bar called Brennan's in St. Louis. It's no longer in business, but we went there, and I walked in, and it was it was kind of dark, and I'm like, all right, do vampires hang out here? What the hell is going on? And he was like, he walked me into a humidor, and I'm like, okay. He picked me out a nice beginner cigar. There's a thing. Picked me out a nice cigar, and he walked me back out, and we lit up the cigar, and I sat at the bar, and I had no less than like 8 people come up to me and say hi, because they could tell I didn't know what I was doing. And so I had no less than like 8 people come up to me and speak and help me out with my cigars and talk about cigars. And then we started talking about life, and we started talking about different things. And I started to look around, and it's like everybody was in such a relaxed nature. Now, if you go back to what I said before, I come from chaos and violence, right? So peace is a beautiful thing to me. And I walked into this place, and it was peaceful, but it was mature. And people were talking about everything. And then before the end of the night, I was getting advice on real estate. I was, a lot of people were just giving a lot of love. Hey, I come every Thursday. Make sure you come Thursday at 7. Me and the group come. You should come hang out with our group. Yep. And a lot of these people didn't look like me. And I just like, what? The cigar brought a harmonious environment to me. It brought peace. It brought maturity. But I didn't have to avoid the real talks. The real talks were just handled in a mature fashion. So I said, if this cigar brings these type of people and sets this type of tone, then I'm going to embrace it. And I've been into it ever since, because really it wasn't the cigar that drew me. It was the people that smoked them. And then I've been stuck ever since. So about 6 years now.
Okay.
Well, it's like how David Crawford said, and I'm going to read it. Said, with cigars, the only color that matters is the color of the leaf.
That's right.
I give him that.
Me too.
I give him that.
That's right. Yep. And now you have your own podcast, Stogies and Straps, yeah?
Yes. So speaking of mature, and thank you, Jerah. And speaking of the mature conversations, one thing that I wanted to do is I wanted a place where adults, because you guys and all the audience, you see social media just like I see social media. You see news like I see news, and everybody's always yelling at each other. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I just want to hear adults talk. I just do. I just want to hear adults talk. And I was like, once again, I'm a solution guy. So I said, you know what? I'm going to create a platform where we can have some serious adult conversations, but we respect each other. And we can leave being friends even if we disagree. Maybe not best friends, but we can still leave in part being friends. So I created a podcast that just launched its first episode yesterday, called Stogies and Straps. And it's about the stogie bringing the peaceful, harmonious nature of us being able to talk. And that comes from my sister saying, have you ever noticed that you've never seen somebody fighting while eating a chocolate chip cookie? And I had to think about that. I was like, she's like, they might fight over the chocolate chip cookie, but they don't fight while they're eating a chocolate chip cookie. And I was like, man, you know what I've never seen? And I'm sure it's happened somewhere in the world, but I've never seen people fight like a nasty fight while having a stogie. So I'm like, And then straps represents the freedom to say what I want to say, be who I am, speak about who I am, and I got the freedom to say so. And If you try to deprive me of that freedom, then there's a consequence. So I created the platform Stogies and Straps, and we do it in the Red Phone booth here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's an old 1920s prohibition spot, so it has a lot of meaning with freedom, and people just want to be free. So we do it there. And then thanks to the owners of that place, we do it there, and that's what I do. I got already like 8 episodes recorded, and that's what we're doing. We're sitting down, we're having cigars, we're bringing people in. Some of the guests are like their first or second time smoking a cigar, so we started off with teaching them about cigars a little bit, and we get into the conversations. I mean, the first episode that dropped yesterday, and that's Stogies and Straps on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Stogies and Straps. And even the one I dropped yesterday, I mean, one of my first guest was my good buddy Ken Scott with Perfectus Group. And Ken's he's a young man, but he's done a lot in his career. So he's been a firefighter. He went into law enforcement. He's ran everything from drug interdiction task force all the way up to being chief of police. So I brought him on, and we opened up talking about police and community. What's the problem, right? And I have some law enforcement experience. Clearly, he has a lot more than I do, but I have the community experience. Ken's a black man, but he's not from the hood, where I'm from the hood. So we got into the conversation about what we think is wrong. We talked about family, raising kids, giving them the blueprint. We talked about how to be more harmonious people. We talked about de-escalation. We talked about the importance of entrepreneurship. And all these things being talked about with 2 gentlemen, similar backgrounds, but still very different, over a cigar, right? And we just had the conversation. 2 hours passed by like you wouldn't believe it, but we went into a lot of the deep conversations that America, normally when you see it, they're arguing, they're pulling each other's throats, and they're fighting, and they're throwing rocks at each other. But we just really sat back and we talked about it. So that's what Stogies and Straps is bringing. We have politicians coming on the show. From being out and about in the public eye for so long, I'm privileged to know a lot of great people. So we got athletes coming on the show. We got political pundits coming on the show. And we're going to get into the conversations, but it's in a relaxed nature that I think people like here, maybe even your audience, are like, you know what? I'm okay with having a conversation. I'm just kind of tired of people yelling and fighting and trying to get clickbait just to, have the hottest take. I just want to hear adults talk about the issues, be open for criticism, get to the bottom of it, share their thoughts. We can engage with each other without the name calling and things like that, because we are the leaders of the world. Everybody on here and everybody listening, we are the current leaders. There is no more who's going to lead us. Well, you, right? So the only thing we can do, the first thing we have to do if we're going to fix anything, if we're going to share information, knowledge, inspiration, motivation, insight to other people, is we have to be able to communicate it effectively. And so that's why I started Stogies and Straps, and we are good and well. I mean, hell, the first clip I released was a man's opinion on abortion. Like, we are talking about the things, right? But we're doing it in a manner where you can actually hear the sides.
Love it.
Nice.
That's awesome. We're wishing you all the best on that one,
absolutely.
Kevin. That sounds really
well, you're always welcome back on our show.
Always. And we'll make sure that we promote your podcast and get it out to our fans and, fans. I don't know if I'll call them fans.
We have a couple of groupies, but that's about it.
Leave it to Cousin Frank to offend everybody.
Frank insults everyone. Yes. Hey, Kevin, we'd like to invite you to stay on board, because we're going to go to our next segment, and it's called Smoke the Shoot.
But before we do that, as Ronnie would say, Frank, can you please listen to our sponsors? And I say, all right, Ron, why the hell not?
Say that.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
Experience the magic of Rockefeller Cigars today. With 11 years steeped in tradition, passion, and mystery of the leaf, Rockefeller has a cigar just for you. Be like the greatest magicians and make Rockefeller Cigars appear in your lineup with any of our 4 lines. The Nicaraguan, the Dominican Blue, the Vintage Gold, and our new LE, The Art of Magic. DAV Cigars out of New York. Decades of experience combined with true love and deep understanding of cigars result in the highest of standard of each DAV hand-rolled cigar.
And we're back. All right. But before we go to that segment, we're just going to show everybody a wonderful gift by our good friend, Dr. Garo. And it is an amazing, amazing gift. And I hope you all stay on board. And
look at the packaging. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
Wow.
You like
Dr.
that?
Garo Cigars, guys.
And why don't we show the profile of it? So it's actually a cigar rest.
Yep.
You can put a cigar on it on the table and let it hold your cigar, folks. It's got.
Hang on, Kyle. Is that what you proposed to me with?
He got it for free. It's kind of like almost like a Cracker Jack box thing for Kyle.
He only gives you the best. It's better than Cracker Jacks.
Hey, you know what? We had the love of the cigar. I mean, what a beautiful ring. I mean, this is like pure beauty.
It didn't even fit me. It was too
Going to
big.
bring that down to you in March, kiddo.
I'm a 5 1/4, in case anybody out there is wondering. I'm a 5 1/4.
So obviously, it is that time of the show where I show my love of history, and it's usually this date in history, and it ranges from back in Bob's day, back in prehistoric time, Jurassic era, where he was in diapers still. But, you know, so it's time to play what we like to call Smoke
The
Chooch. David Blanco, who sponsors this segment of the show. And we have our mascot to lead us into, oh, look at that. Don't be a chooch, smoke
the chooch.
So
That's
the
right.
9, it's a great cigar.
Great
Yeah,
cigar.
great
We're going to
cigar.
have to get Kevin one of those.
Yeah.
When I get the extra large sizes again, sorry, Kevin.
Oh yeah,
Why did you assume that you were extra large, Kevin? Was that the right thing for him to assume?
Yeah, he just needs to add one more X to that.
Hey, Ron, stick that foot in your mouth.
No.
In my Ron's,
Look at the build on that top.
Yeah,
I know what I'm talking about.
It says Ronnie, insert foot
Listen,
here.
He didn't work in the prisons your size. Let's put it that way, okay? No offense, I know what I'm talking about.
Drink some more.
There it is. So that is the signal to start playing. Now, everyone there.
Also Frank's mating call, too, if we don't.
That is my maiden call, Kyle. No.
Hey, Frank, make it a hard one because Barry said pack it in the box and send it to him. Barry.
Hey, wait. Barry, didn't you get the package from Indiana? Come on now. Come on. I know we took care of you.
Hey, I'll say one more thing before we start. There was some guy like way up in the chat thread. I think his last name was Mullen. I think it's Scott Mullen. That was talking about my.
Hey, he's a good friend of mine. He's my brother.
Yeah, he was talking crap about my Packers. So I feel like
he loves the
fight
Packers.
me.
No, he's a Packer fan. He's a fanatic.
Okay, well, he was saying something about like they weren't very impressive, and then everybody else was talking, and I just want to make sure he didn't want to fight me because we can make that happen.
He's single, just to let you know. He's always looking for a good, solid woman. So
He's gonna be single and ass whooped if he keeps talking about the Packers.
He will like that, trust me.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
All right, so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna reel this in because you guys are getting off the rails.
We always
again.
do.
Oh,
off the rails again.
Blame her on that one. That was her fault.
I'm gonna bring us right back to my favorite year, 1969.
Good year.
1969.
Bob was like 40.
Yeah.
February 1969. This man becomes general manager of Chevy. He then goes on to create his own vehicle, which he was provided major funding by the British government to set up a factory in Northern Ireland.
Oh, that's so.
Although
easy.
the car never took.
You had to go with an Italian guy, didn't you?
What
No.
is the car, and who is the person the car is named for?
That's easy.
Come on, guys.
DeLorean.
DeLorean. There you go. DeLorean.
Thank
All
you.
right. Ronnie, you finally got something right.
For once.
No, he didn't do anything right. He read the freaking comments. Is
Read
what
what?
he did.
Of course.
Hold on. Let me get rid of the comments here before he starts answering
No,
again.
I was going
Let's
actually
see
with-
how he does, huh? Okay, let's see what you
Ronnie's a damn cheater.
What car was he responsible for in GM though?
I don't know.
He was with the
Well, back in 1969.
What did he put out?
What did
That
he
was
put
a
out?
muscle
I'm
car.
going to say it's going to be a Camaro.
No,
No.
GTO.
Oh, the
GTO.
GTO.
Wow.
Dr. Oscar's GTO cigar line.
GTO.
Wow.
All right. We're going to go back a little bit. We're going to go to 1940. This singer sings the hits Too Romantic and The Sky Fell Down during his debut recording session with the popular Tommy Dorsey Band.
Oh, come on. These are so
This was
easy.
his first recording.
This is so
Who
easy.
is this singer?
Frank.
You know that. Come on. Ronnie doesn't know. Kyle doesn't know. Jared doesn't know.
I didn't know.
Doesn't know.
I was there for that recording.
Yeah, exactly. Bob was actually in the recording studio. It was none other than Bob.
Frank Sinatra.
There we go. Bob does know something. Finally.
And what did
I
Tommy
would hold.
You know? You know what
I would.
Tommy Dorsey lived in?
Where?
Jersey.
He lived in Jersey.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that at least two of us
Yes.
are 80s children.
Well, you have to do a little history. Go.
Is that considered history?
Oh, yes.
That is.
Absolutely.
1986. That's like a pair of socks that I still own. That they were tube socks, by the way. I don't know if you're familiar with them. But they were tube socks, very, very popular in the 80s.
Had holes in it.
On the top, you know, a red or a blue stripe.
I just want to remind you.
They're holy.
Yeah,
I just want to remind you that half the show tonight didn't walk with Jesus. So
That's true.
Well, Bob did.
Bob
keep it in
did.
mind.
He carried the cross. So he was at the supper. He was the waiter at the supper.
He was the 13th apostle.
All right, I'm going to go back to 1933, a very important day in history. It was the start of this animal determination of how many more weeks were left.
Prairie dog. It's a prairie dog.
We're not talking about headless animals.
Without a head. Prairie dog without the head.
So this was the first animal to be a weather forecaster.
Oh, wow.
He died today.
Groundhog Day.
Kevin got it.
The beginning, Kevin. There you go, Kevin. I knew you
I had to get one.
Groundhog Day started in 1933, and Kyle told me that Pecorini
He
Phil
just
died.
Yeah, who died
He
today?
lived a long life
Yeah.
from 1933 to
now.
yesterday. I mean,
Punxsutawney Phil had been laid to rest today.
yes.
Right. So imagine.
The new tradition be you can shoot the head off a prairie dog at 25 yards and get sick.
If it comes out and says 6 more weeks of winter, you're allowed to shoot.
I mean,
That's it.
it's not a shitty plan. Like,
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'll give you guys one more.
Hold on. I got Chicago there, Jeff Reif. Prairie dogs are the ultimate goal if you want to be a good long-range shooter.
They are. They really are.
I think we need to get some prairie dogs sent over to the train to learn.
You know what?
Jared, I'll just say don't worry about it.
Yeah, once they take over a field, if you plant a few prairie dogs, it's over. They take it all over.
Yeah.
So you may not want to do that, Jerah. Just saying. You know.
All right, one more.
You know, Cousin Frank's a dream killer.
Oh,
man. Wet one, too.
Don't worry about Frank. We won't talk about him no more.
One more for us, choo-choos.
All right, here we go. In the UK, on this day in history, the BBC is funded via TV licenses issued by the British government, keeping the BBC free of commercial advertising. In 1952, following a report that showed large numbers of people were not paying for the license, the government brought in what to track down the users of unlicensed TVs in the UK?
Satellites and Nazi things.
Whoa.
Brought in the military to shoot them down.
See, this is, I should have kept this one for the
That
audience.
yeah,
this
that's
is
a tough one,
This
man.
is a good one.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Actually,
Why did you blow your whole load?
I did. Well, I did blow your load somewhere. Eric, close your ears. You didn't hear that. It was called the England TV detector vans.
What, are they throwing spikes?
They had like little radar detectors, and they could detect that you were basically pirating the signal.
Really?
Yeah. I thought that was really.
Hold on, one second, Frank. I got one for you because it popped up in my news feed. in this day this week in history.
Okay, go ahead.
This show started, and this is for us 80 babies.
Okay.
This show started in 1988, and it was a show from about an American middle-class family.
Mm-hmm.
That it started from the late 60s into early 70s, featuring a young character of Kevin, his best friend Paul, and
Wonder Years.
Wonder Years. Yeah, I knew that one. I knew that one.
There you go, Jerah.
I just want to point out that I'm not an 80s baby either.
Well, no, you're a 70s baby, right? You're a 70s
Right.
baby. But they are making a reboot.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Frank, Kathy says we need better questions. Come on, let's get to it.
Well, then she write them and send them to me.
All right, Kathy, you got them. You write them. Frank will read them.
Listen, it's all about the delivery.
Crap about the British.
It's about the delivery.
Our UK listeners now.
Wait, didn't we kick their ass?
Many times.
Yes.
Wow.
Their ass. And they drink warm beer.
No, we don't know. We don't know. But ready, Kyle, can you cue the music? Because we're gonna pop this question up on the screen. Everybody, get ready to answer.
Is this for the audience?
This is for the audience.
Okay.
This is the audience.
All right, the audience.
This is for the audience.
All right.
Let me grab a charger.
Get ready.
Look, Kevin learned out at the right time.
Here we go. Question for tonight's Chooch. Prize, gift away, whatever we would like to
Gift away, yes.
is. What insurance company was the very first to issue an automobile policy to an individual on this date in history back in 1898?
I know that one. I know it.
Wow. That's a good one.
I like that one. Huh, Kyle?
I
That's a
got
good
it,
one.
buddy. I got it.
You shut your
American
mouth.
company?
Yeah, Brian.
Is it an American company?
I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, it's an American company.
Farmers from David, that's wrong. Clarence Robinson says Traveler. Let's see if he's correct on that. Let us take a look.
Nope.
He is absolutely correct. It
Yes.
is Traveler.
Go, best friend.
Traveler.
All right. Okay.
Travelers.
Harry, that's my answer.
Clarence Robinson
during that
is
segment-
my BFF.
Kevin was traveling. It could have been a cue. He was traveling to get his charger.
Yeah.
He's traveling to get more creamer for his coffee.
There you go with the jokes. There you go with the jokes. I had to
Man,
plug
Kevin-
my laptop in so I could stay on the show.
There you go.
Hey, James, definitely PM us your address so I can get that out to you. And congratulations, that was awesome.
Well, I mean, we've been making fun of Kevin for his creamers, but I bet you he didn't forget coffee like a certain individual this morning forgot to put the coffee in before they brewed the coffee.
Oh.
Where they brewed the coffee.
Your
middle finger.
That is the
cue that the show is over.
The divorce papers are in.
Nothing like boiled water in the morning.
Well, can you?
Well, I went back to bed. I hit the button, and then I went back to bed. I was like, I'm just gonna lay here for 15 minutes while the coffee brews, and then I started hearing. I was like, what the hell is that? And I get up and the coffee's all coming out because I put the coffee pot in the dishwasher and I didn't put it back.
Oh man. And Kyle, that's what you go home to, huh?
That's what
add some cream. Right.
Well, Kyle had to clean it up.
He did.
First of all, you don't get to talk shit at all. What? Okay. Another man gave your wife COVID. Like what? You just let these guys come in and hang out with your lady?
Yeah. Oh,
I'm a free spirited guy.
We're getting to know a little bit too much about Ron.
Oh yeah.
I feel like there's no scene control at your house.
It's all good, baby.
Come on now.
Who I can take home, so it's okay.
Just feeling like, maybe she doesn't want all these men like giving her COVID.
What can I tell you? I injected it a few times,
Oh man, my brother Kevin,
we're talking about
the virus.
Oh no.
Ronnie is the virus,
and this is where the show really goes off the rails. Stay tuned, folks, for the after show.
I gotta tell you, it was.
You want me to record it for you?
Hey, what you record, you keep that private, Ron. Okay.
Yeah, no.
I'm an open book. Don't worry about it.
So, sweet Kevin, it was so good to have you on. Like, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for putting up with my shit. And thank you for everything you do in the community. It was a pleasure having you on. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, Kevin, for being our pseudo last minute fill in. Right. I know short notice, but I appreciate it so much that you were able to join us on tonight's show. That was great for you to step up and
crazy people here.
Great show. It really truly has been a great show, Kevin.
It was my pleasure. I appreciate you guys and Jerah for sharing your platform with me. The pleasure was all mine.
And thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
So don't forget to follow Stogies and Straps on Instagram. Don't forget to follow The Real NOC on Instagram. Don't forget to go to is it NOC? What was the website of the Train and Learn again?
It's nootherchoice.com, and if you look right above the banner, you'll see a big bold letters Train and Learn. And if you click the training tab, you'll also see Train and Learn as well. And you can read everything that you need, everything it's about, all right there.
Gear lists, all that kind of stuff.
Our audience is all thanking you, Kevin, for a spectacular night.
Everything you do, man.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure and really much appreciative of everything for tonight.
The Prairie Dogs have a different opinion, but that's another story.
A different story. That's for a different show. We're bringing the Prairie Dogs on.
I might have a bunch of them looking for me, so I think I'll stay away from that show.
Hit on you, Kevin. Be careful.
Anyway, for all of us, to all of you folks, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and have a wonderful week, everybody.
And tonight, salute.
Salute.
And light them up, folks.
Good night.
Light them up. Have a night, everyone.
Many of the cigar brands that we make, they're antique, historic cigar brands. They've been made on and off for about 100 years. When you're smoking Toscano, you're smoking 206 years of history.
The Italians are here.
We're here. We're in the house. For some reason, we find a lot of Italians on this show.
My leave to go and take the cannoli uncles over here. Decided I would be on the show sometime.
Listen, I'm a Jersey guy.
Hey,
so,
we won't hold that against you. We invented this we want to give people the opportunity to smoke the cigar at the optimal level.
The Chooch cigar.
Can you believe it?
The Blanco 9 Chooch.
¿Cómo va? ¿Está bien?
¿Qué dice? ¿Cómo está?
Finally, I can answer the question. Anything new?
Yeah.
And we have some cool new stuff from Oliva.
This is a passion for me. It's not a job.
Your love and passion for this is,
I love
unbelievable.
That's why we can make pipes out of this variety of corn.
11 years ago, I went back and I bought the rights to everything La Polina.
Sure, it's family.
And restarted the brand again as a tribute to my grandfather.
It's nice because you get to see a lot of your friends. You got to remember, I've been doing this for 30 years, so a lot of these people are like family.
Build a platform where we could celebrate boutique cigars.
Leave Starlight House blend for one store in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Join forces of pipe tobacco and
superheroes. I always look forward to the Super Bowl events, and I always looked at the trade show as just one of those things.
We're not just selling cigars. We try to live our lives, and we use this as a means to share our stories and to really create community.
Hold on, man. Wow, man. You got me.
Tell my brothers to line them up. We'll drink that whiskey from those old dirty cups. We'll toast to the present, the future, and the past. This ain't my first drink, but I sure it ain't my last. 'Cause this world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful.